So our new anime begins with Hirako, who is betrayed by his friends and gets tangled up with a deadly disease. He spends the second half of his life in hospital until his death. After that, God felt guilty for giving him such an undeserving life with such a painful experience, so he gave him a chance to resurrect in another body with any power he desired. Hirako could have chose any power, but he chose to take power of farming to take with him to his different world. Well, giving that power was out of that god's jurisdiction, so he rolled the call to take permission from the god OS agriculture. With her permission, God resurrect Hirako into the fantasy world with the power he wanted all along, the power of farming, but the place he was resurrect was in middle of the jungle. But even so, Hirako started using his powers right there to bring forth his divine farming tools. It helped him level and soften the ground for farming. More so, it turned into a shovel with which Hirako dug a hole for his water supply and also a hatchet to clear out the area, and soon his work was showing results in farming. Well, he doesn't need seed to grow what he wants. Hirako just needs to imagine the fruit or vegetable he wants to grow, and his diving farming tool will make that seed appear. Then, as the days passed, Hirako worked on the security of the area to fend off wild beasts, but then one day he saw two dogs right outside. One had a swollen belly, meaning that she was pregnant, so Hirako gave them food and his hut so that she could give birth to her puppies safely. After that tough night, that female dog finally gave birth to her puppies, and then they started living with Hirako. Calling them dogs seemed a little weird after that, so Hirako named them Koro. As they also came in handy for him to explore the surrounding area without getting lost, soon Hirako spent his entire time expanding the land with his farm, and just like that, the winter was near. Then Koro brought a friend along with him, a giant spider, and she's an excellent cloth maker with her spider silk, and the only thing she wants in return is her favorite vegetable, potatoes. Then with her help the winter passed away without any problem, and the Koro pack also became larger as their children grew up and even brought back their partners. Then one day the spider Zabuto gave a signal of an intruder, and Koro led Hirako to the place where the intruder was. She was just a little girl caught by Koro and its pack because she tried to attack them first. Well, anyways, she's a vampire and sucked Hirako's blood without permission. For that, Koro's pack taught her a good lesson. Then she introduced herself as Lucy, a vampire. She was on the run because she got into a fight with a nobleman because he was trying to steal away her research. Lucy was fascinated by the plants and vegetables she had never seen in such a dangerous place. This forest was well known as a forest of death, and Hirako was totally unaware of it. Despite that oddness, Lucy was happy to gather info on new thing. As such, Hirako didn't want to lose this chance and proposed to Lucy that she stays with him forever. While Hirako was alone, so he just wanted to get Lucy to stay there with him. But it clearly sounded like Hirako proposed to her, as Hirako understood the meaning of what he had told her. Even so, he didn't try to clear up the misunderstanding. Well, with that, Hirako got the very first member of the village there, but then Zabuto once again gave signal of an intruder, and this time it was Angel that came seeking Lucy there. Both of them are acquainted with each other, and after hearing about Lucky's fight with the noble Tia, she just came looking for her to help her, and with her being there. It was the first time Lucy admitted her and Hyako's relationship to Tia and insisted she stay with them. Soon Tia was also fascinated by the farm and the crops and fruits Hirako produced and decided to stay with them, but one day Tia just flew off on an errand and returned with some high elf girls. Apparently, their homes were destroyed because of the war, and they were forced to flee for their lives. Without any proper place to settle down, they were roaming around in search of a nice place to settle down and repopulate their kind, but the only problem was that most of the male elves had died. Which meant Hirako was next in line for that, you know? Well, aside from that, the elves came in really handy because they are like professional builders and smiths, and they helped Hirako build a nice house for them and also some kitchen stuff. And with Ria's help now, Hirako also built a water reservoir for the village there. As days went by, the village kept on developing until the winter came. Then as the winter passed away and the regular days came, a wyvern suddenly appears to attack the village. At that time, Hirako felt so desperate to protect the village but had no magical power to do so. In that moment, his desire to protect the village turned his diving farming tool into a spear, and with it, Hirako killed that wyvern in a single shot. And this story of Hirako defeating a wyvern in a single shot went viral. In the Demon Kingdom, the three generals of the Demon Kings were so shocked by Hirako's power that even the Dragon Kingdom heard of his feat. So after that, apparently Hirako was now planning to make wine with all the grapes he had sown, and with all the help he got, they made about 16 barrels of wine and preserved it for the time being. Then on the next day another intruder was caught by Koro and his pack, but she wasn't hostile. Actually, she just came to find Lucy, her older sister. Her name is Flora, and she is also a vampire like her and also a researcher. Seeing that her sister is much happier here, she brought some ogre's maids and lizard men with her to help the village grow up even more. Then Tia was the only one feeling all and only one of her kind, so she also brought 3 other people of her kind to help out with the security. Now that the village was growing, the issue was that they didn't have a proper name for their village. So Hirako called in all the representatives of their kind to discuss and choose a name, and the Zabuto gave an idea that everyone liked, to name the village after its landmark, the tree, which makes it the Great Tree Village. Everyone liked the idea, and they held a celebration that day. So that's it for the video for today. For more of the recap, please subscribe to the channel.